Stephen.
Andrew.
Do you fancy spending a quiet night inside number 9?
As always, of course I do.
Yay. We're here again.
I was about to say literally that.
Were
that sentence.
Yeah. Oh, mate, you sent me a message on whenever it was, a few days
Friday
ago,
night.
Friday, saying that you'd done your rewatch of 12 Days of Christine, and that the involuntary tears fell. Well, actually, you said you'd watch Christine, and and you cried, and I remember. Must have been about 10 years ago or so, watching Stephen King's Christine on Love Film, and it really confused me because I don't remember it being that emotional. It was just it was a frustrating film because the car, I don't know, it kept coming back to life. I seem to remember. I can't.
Kind of the opposite.
It's the opposite.
What goes on here because
of Nice Christine.
The car doesn't come back to life, and neither does the person in it. As far as we know, there could be a sequel where Christine comes back to life and owns a donkey and goes to a farm shop on a regular basis.
This is the thing. So after my rewatch, I went on Twitter to try and find some sort of solace. It's the worst place to go for solace, but I was greeted by a Google advert that had Sheridan Smith on it, promoting a donkey. I'm not sure. I'm still not even sure what it was.
It was a farm shop. It was a farm shop that had a donkey bit attached to it. Not a donkey bit, not a bit of a donkey. Like actually,
Sheridan Smith loves her local garden centre for the dog toys and donkeys. Google helps you find quieter times to shop. It's like, are those things related? Oh, no.
Well, they sell dog toys and they've got some donkeys there for you to.
And Google will help you go and have a better browsing experience.
Well, yeah, but the problem is that everyone will see that and everyone will know when the quiet time is, and suddenly those results will be a little bit out of date.
Yeah, and the busy time will become the quiet time.
At least you know when Sheridan Smith will decide to go, though.
Well, that's it, because she goes at the quiet time.
It's not the quiet time anymore, is it?
Everyone's going to be going, yeah.
Now,
but no, I found solace.
Afternoon.
I did find solace in the fact that I saw Sheridan there, happy as Larry with a donkey. What's the sign behind her? We have donkeys or something.
We have donkeys.
Yeah. So that made me smile.
Good.
Yeah. So we're going into 12 Days of Christine. There's a roundabout way of.
I remember the first time that we did this, and we had been dreading it for like almost a series and a half of getting to this stage because we didn't want to upset people. We didn't want to be upset. We didn't upset anyone, I don't think. I think we did okay.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because it is, as they say in the introduction to Series 2 in the script book, Series 2 is conspicuous for having within it the episode that seems to be most people's favourite ever, 12 Days of Christine, also known as the Sheridan Smith one. And yeah, I think that's the case, isn't it? They talk about it quite a lot in there. But it is, and there's something about it, like for me again, I was watching along with the book, making little notes and noticing things, and even still, the end, there's just something incredibly powerful about that. It's the double moment. It's the moment where she's flicking through the book, and is like looking through her life, and then it's like her life is flashing before her, and then I think I know what this is, and that's where you then start to know what it is.
That little section just starts with, "I don't want the present."
Oh man!
And that's when it all starts to like pile on.
Yeah, yeah, and then just right at the end with when she says goodbye, it's like, oh, just ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think reading through the script book is quite an insightful thing in terms of the power of the music, the power of the sound, and the power of the acting in this episode as well.
I think there's very little in terms of direction for all the stuff that's building up through the episodes, all that stuff that when you go back again and all those bits and pieces that were flagging what had just happened in reality, in the real timeline. None of that is sort of referenced in here at all. It doesn't say blue flashing lights like those of an ambulance. There's like none of the foreshadowing stuff mentioned in the script whatsoever. The car alarm chime thing that keeps on coming back up again and again and again. Little bits and pieces like that
which is in the sound. It's in the music, isn't it? That motif. It's so well placed.
And that's the thing, is that I'm surprised that there wasn't really any reference to it all the way through the script, and it must have been just a conversation with it. I know Christian Henson did the music. I don't know if he did all of the sound effect stuff as well. Like the heartbeat stuff, the CPR bed springs, all those kind of things that are your foreshadowing all through the episode just aren't referenced at all. And so it must have been all side conversations of, right, we want to build this purely through sound.
Yeah.
Which is quite amazing.
And it is, it really augments it. The one thing with the direction in the beginning, like the first one, where they go to the flat, and it says about the Christmas tree in the corner with flashing blue lights. I did think, there's a little. If you were reading it without knowing what's going to happen, I think you'd be drawn to that, of like flashing blue lights.
Flashing blue.
And then, because and then into the fireman bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd made a note of the bit with Adam and Christine when they're saying, "Where's your toilet? Oh, it's just down there. I need to unravel my hose pipe. Oh, don't have it on sprinkle." And then it's not in the direction for her picking up the fireman's helmet and playing with the fireman's helmet. And I thought, oh yeah, there's a little.
They also departed slightly and started with the flashing lights. The blue flashing lights are the first thing we see, rather than them appearing at the door and then blue flashing lights.
That's true.
Which was a funny little switch. But again, probably one of those things that in retrospect, you're like, what if we started with the blues? Does that make more sense?
There are a few things that shift order and probably are that kind of decision process where it's like, actually, no, this looks, you don't need to do this. Like there's bits where there's dialogue that's been cut because actually the kind of message can be conveyed through like even just facial expressions or a single word. I do have examples. We'll come to them when we get to them, but yeah, it's quite interesting.
There's a couple of omissions from the script that I really thought it was strange they weren't in there. The heart balloon. You know when she walks into her dad when she's blindfolded, and you know there's that thing that we pulled out was actually a really powerful thing when he lets go of the heart balloon he's holding.
Yeah.
And that's like the moment that in her mind he slipped away from her.
Yeah.
Not there. Not mentioned in the script at all.
Yeah, I hadn't thought that. Yeah.
And I thought that was a really strange one because I thought that was such a pointed thing to do.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems like we definitely need to get that in. Yeah.
But no, that was just a decision they thought, there's a heart balloon. You could let go, that'd be nice.
Yeah.
No, that's a real gut punch.
Real gut punch. Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, and Fung's explanation of what's going on with the she doesn't. They've dropped the bit. This is referred to as a portable vector. Stops there. She doesn't go on to explain because the month is quantitatively divisible by the year. I was trying to work out, is that because you'll be like repeating that line in your head, trying to work out what that means for a little while, and you'll miss loads of the rest of the. Or is it because actually that's too much detail?
I think we've got what's happening here. Started in January, now it's next February. We may have the following March come up next.
Yeah,
it's okay. We're there. We know what's going on.
Yeah.
Steve decided to add in lines like "one big puff."
Yes,
with the cake.
Yeah,
that's just Steve. Steve just wanted to camp things up a bit.
Absolute element in this. I know we said it before, but it's like he was born to be a shoe salesman.
Is that?
I think that's what it is.
What I've taken from watching this episode and reading the script book is that Steve Pemberton was born to be a shoe salesman.
Yeah, like Nigel Tufnell.
Wow.
I think we have that size. I think we.
So I found reading the script book quite sterile an experience, and I don't know if it's because you know what's coming and you know how this ends and you know how emotional it all becomes. I don't know if it's the fact that so much of it is achieved by, first of all, Sheridan Smith's performance.
Mm-hmm.
I think that you could give this to other actresses and they wouldn't do nearly as good a job, especially of that ending.
Yeah.
She does an incredible job of that last scene, but then all the way through, she's someone you're rooting for.
Yeah, and I think that's what makes the last scene so powerful, because she's managed to make you. I don't know what the kind of right phrase would be, but like you're so like into
invested.
Her, yeah, as a character. Like it's like you know her in 30 minutes. It's unbelievable. But I think on that note, it's important to kind of highlight some of the things that have been left out of the in the actual thing.
I think I know the main one you're going to go for.
Yeah,
is it the exchange with
Zara?
Yeah,
yeah, and which is clunky, and it wouldn't. I'm so glad they left it out. And there's the exchange with Adam about the keys as well.
Yeah, the keys are gone, aren't they? Just completely.
Yeah, so that exchange is Adam's in. So where are we? When he's moving in.
Yes.
He says he's got to take the van back before it closes. And then Christine says, here, hands Adam a key ring with keys. Adam says, what's this? Your new house keys. Oh, thank you. What's that? A pair of seagulls? It's 2 doves, me and you. Oh, right, weird. It's romantic. And yeah, it wouldn't have been completely out of place, that little exchange. But I think there's something about their relationship. It's because obviously you're looking at this in the context of the things that she's remembering as significant moments, and actually her relationship with Adam in those moments is generally positive. Like that's a positive memory. It's not like the kind of Adam being a bit of a dick isn't there, but he's that. I don't know. Just when you read it in the script, it's a bit slightly dickish thing to say, or it's a bit dismissive and just. It potentially works as a precursor to what you discover about him later on, because he is a dick. But
even the extent to which he's a bit of a dick. With the other scene they cut
let's
with Zara, it suddenly became very, very explicit how much of a dick. Because there's a difference between kind of some unsaid stuff going on at the party when she remembers him. Well, he turns up with Zara, and there's undertones of something going on there, and then she remembers them going off together somewhere, but then we don't know whether that's reality or whether that's just a suspicion that's manifesting itself as a memory like that she had about him and Zara,
which is a powerful, because it's digging into that more unconscious connection to, when I saw that was painful, but I didn't have confirmed what I was suspicious of. Exactly,
but then we've got Zara appearing at the door, and it suddenly being very obvious that there was something going on with Adam and Zara, because Zara's turned up thinking that Christine wasn't going to be in.
I was so annoyed reading this.
And the other thing is that I think in that whole situation, Christine, as we see it in the final TV one, Christine is kind of very passive in all that. She doesn't really go on the attack with any of it, and we just see it sort of happening to her in the background. She's very much a sort of a victim. And Zara's, that horrible line with, I've written it down, written oof next to it. It was baby fat.
Oh,
He's 2 now. It's just, horrible behaviour.
Yeah.
But that whole thing with Zara saying, turn around, do this. And again, I don't know whether that is just mixed up memories.
I mean, it could be. It could be just like a insecurities, shining through. And I mean, because actually her mum, it's because she's the one who says it's just baby fat, will be gone soon enough. It's like, that's almost, she set it up. Because
exactly.
Like, she's basically saying, she's fat, isn't she? But it's only baby fat.
He's 2 now. He's 32 years old.
He's 32.
But then, that changes a bit when Zara turns up at the house. She's making jokes about anusol, and then telling Zara to fuck off.
Yeah.
Just feels out of character.
It does. It feels completely out of character, yeah.
Because I feel like there's been something going on there that she didn't want to confront, and she doesn't confront, and it's just that's just part of Christine.
I guess the only way that might have worked is if you are kind of bought into the idea that these might not be real memories, and this is the interaction she wished she'd had, or but I think that'd be really, really hard to convey.
She's not the sassy, assertive lady that we see in this scene here.
No, and I think it's because I think she's got a power about her. Like, she's not a complete passive walkover. Like, there's something about her that's really strong. But this comes across as just downright aggressive.
Yeah.
But I think the whole scene itself doesn't feel like doesn't feel like it fits. It's out of place. Yeah. So, for anyone who's not read it and is interested, it's basically where after Christine's dad has been there, which again is a weird scene when you're watching it around the first time, because it's like suddenly he's just there and she hasn't,
it's not surprised
at all, and she knows that he's dead because he's already died. Also, it says in the script she's 35, but and in the thing she's 32. So it's 3 years.
So her son can't be 32. That's ridiculous.
No, that'd be crazy. Yeah, so it's but 32, divorced and working in a shoe shop with my gay best friend.
Okay. That's a weird change to make.
Yeah. And it's a weird...
Is 35 a more acceptable age to be divorced at?
I would have thought so, actually, yeah. Working in a shoe shop with my gay best friend is a bit sort of derogative of towards derogatory towards
people who are 32 years old working in a shoe shop with gay best friends.
Yeah, exactly. And shoe salesman. Which Steve was born for. His life's purpose. After her dad's gone, the buzzer sounds, followed by the sound of the key in the lock. The front door opens. Zara appears. This just really annoyed me because it's like, oh, sorry, Chrissy. I thought you'd be at work. And again, I'm just leaving. I'll wait outside. I was like, yes, you wait outside.
Yeah, I haven't invited you in.
Yeah. No, it's all right. You're here now. Has he got you collecting his things? Yeah, something came up at work. I bet it did. It's a common reference through the thing is Willies. Christine, well, it's all in that corner. Help yourself. If he wants his anusol, tell him I chucked it. It's out of date. Okay.
Sass.
Isn't it Jack's first day at school today? It's all a bit detailed. He remembered, did he? Well, a phone call would have been nice. Chrissy, can I just say, I hope that at some point in the future we can just sit down, open a big bottle of wine, stick on a rom-com and have a proper girly chat like a couple of mates. What do you think? I think you should fuck off. Sorry? I don't do rom-coms. There's the joke.
Zing!
It's about rom-coms, not about Zara. Yeah, it just didn't... I'm glad they cut that.
It's out of character. It's out of atmosphere of the whole episode. It doesn't work, and I'm glad it went. I almost hope it didn't go just because of time. I hope it went for the specific reason that it just didn't fit at all.
There's a few bits where you can, when you see what's been cut, you can see the cut in the. It's really weird, like because you don't notice it obviously when you're watching it and you're not following it with the script, but like things like where, like when the thing about the keys, that's cut. Like you can see that it cuts.
It was filmed, but then
they filmed it and then it cut. And there's another bit, I can't remember where it was.
There are some bits some lines disappeared with the bonfire night conversation on the phone to Adam.
Yes.
He wasn't making the jokes.
Oh, mate. I am the spirit of dark and lonely water.
Yeah.
I was like, I know that reference. So I went, have you seen it?
No, what is it?
Oh, it's a public information film about the danger of like standing water, like in
sparklers at bonfire night things.
It's not that. It's another one. Basically, it's like this this character. It's from the 70s. This is like 76, 78, something like that. This character is dressed like the Grim Reaper, talking, and it's the 70s sound as well. So it's like slightly sort of hissy microphone, haunting, chilling soundtrack, and this guy saying, "I like children who like play in water and are reckless and all of this stuff." And it's basically like these kids. One of the first one
is this like, you can drown in 2 inches of water?
Yes,
thing?
Yeah, essentially. And it's like I like it because all of these things can be hidden at the bottom of the water. Old cars and old shopping trolleys and all of this stuff, and it can get
okay.
And there's one where there's like a kid trying to get a ball back from a little pond, and he's holding onto a branch, and and he's like, I like it. The first one was easy pickings, but this one he's holding onto a weak branch, and then
this sounds like sounds like the voice of the beginning of an episode of Casualty. Where it's like,
it is.
What's going to happen? We all know what's going to happen.
So freaky. And then it changes to like, the kids that I don't like are the sensible children. And then there's these like teenagers that come along and say, swimming in water like that, what a stupid child. something along those lines.
Thank you for your northern teenager accent.
It's just like, yeah. But I'm glad that was in the script, because that opened a whole new thing for me.
Good. Can you
go and check that out? You definitely
can you drop? No, that's too much of an editing job, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm not, yeah. People can go and check that out.
We'll put a link in the link in bio.
Link in the show notes. I will put a link in the show notes.
I am the spirit of dark and lonely water. Yeah.
It's awful. It's like, imagine watching that when you're like, because it's aimed at children, obviously, because it's aimed to like scare kids into not going anywhere near open water. So you can have kids like 5 years old watching that. Like you'll have to go and watch it, because you'd be traumatized for life watching something like that.
Have you seen the Aussie public information advert about not skipping school?
No.
And these kids all go down to the beach for the day, and it turns out that it's covered in landmines.
What?
And they all get blown up. Right, I'm finding that one.
Send me the link. I'll put it in the show notes. So what, land in Australia?
I think so.
Is that because landmines are like active between 9 and 4? Or
they're having too much fun skipping school to look at what they're being warned about.
But Australia's not famous for landmines.
I don't think there's ever been. Has there been a war?
Right, I'm sure we'd know if Australia's beaches were covered in landmines. Like, it wouldn't be as popular.
Jellyfish and landmines.
And the odd shark.
I draw the line at landmines.
Go there. Jeez.
There you go. I found it.
Cheers, man.
No worries. You can watch that later.
Yeah, I'll watch that later. Great. Yeah. So his lines, getting back to that, are. And again, the things that's cut is him trying to give advice, which is obviously wrong advice.
I don't know if he's joking or if it's just terrible advice.
You need to get a wet tea towel. That's chip pan fires. Is it? Or just run it under a tap then?
To be fair, I feel like a wet tea towel might be okay advice as well for this. Like, wet tea towels don't only have one application.
No, I don't think
I think it can be for chip pan fires and burnt hands.
I imagine it's not going to
do any harm.
But don't take... This is not...
Yeah, I don't know. We are not a public information recording. We are the spirit of dark and lonely water.
Dark and lonely nonsense. Yeah. And then I think the only other thing... So Fung doesn't get her Christmas cracker joke. She doesn't.
No, she doesn't. Does she? Claustrophobia.
What does Santa suffer from if he gets stuck in the chimney? Claustrophobia. I don't get it.
Brilliant joke. Do you not, mate?
No, that's what she says. I found it hilarious.
A year in, and that's the first time that's what she said.
Completely accidental.
That's it.
No.
I noticed quite a big change in the very last scene.
I couldn't keep up with what's going on.
You know, there were tears. I couldn't see through the tears. I couldn't read my book. In fact, the whole it's just a puddle smudged on the last page. It's just a mess.
It's just smudged now.
So there's the very last bit where it says Jack runs up to her and hugs her again. So it says Christine's faced by her family and friends. It's time, Christine. Jack runs up to Christine and hugs her. Christine smiles and gets up from the table with her book. Now that doesn't happen. She stays sat down and Jack stays facing her. And I feel like it's quite important that that doesn't happen because this is the last couple of lines of dialogue and direction. if he had run up to her and hugged her, I think that you'd have lost any sense of her being able to accept that that's her fate and that that's what's happening. I don't think she'd be quite as happy to go, all right, bye everyone.
Yeah.
If her son that she's leaving behind
is in her arms.
I think that would really change things.
That goes against the bit earlier, which, you know, with the Jack mummy's going now bit where she gets the hug with Jack and then he takes to the rest of the table, doesn't he? Does he end up?
Yeah. He's standing with them. He's standing with Adam, I think.
Yeah. So it's that separateness is really, really important, as you say.
It has to be, yeah. If he ran up to her, I think she would have just gone, no, can't do this, can't go.
Yeah.
Quite rightly.
Because he has been saved. Like, that's been made clear that the stranger has managed to get Jack out of the car, but not Chrissy.
And that is awful.
Though I'm not sure getting her out of the car would have necessarily saved her.
No, she's in a bit of a state, isn't she?
Yeah, I don't think the issue is... It's not like the car exploded. Yeah.
No, I think they would... It's not like she looks like she's doing all right and then she takes a massive turn downhill. Yeah. She looks like straight away impact has done a bit of a number on her. She's driven straight
into a bollard. She's taken the impact of the bollard. Jack's in the back, so he's hopefully safe.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And Reese, geez, man, just walking out on a rainy night.
Jaywalking, as our American friends call it.
Shout out to our American jaywalking
Shout out to our American friends. Reese Shearsmith, jaywalker. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's really all I have to say about this one. It's, again, just a beautiful... Nothing really needs to be said. It's a beautiful, beautiful show.
I mean, by this point, we've spent more than an hour and a half talking about it combined across 2 episodes, so the things do need to be said, apparently.
Yeah, I suppose we're doing a podcast, so the premise being
that we talk about it.
Stuff is said.
We just sat here silently for half an hour and then said, well, don't really need to say anything about this.
Hope you've enjoyed.
By the way, if you looked at this episode of Australian advert about landmines.
And I am the spirit of dark and lonely water. Yeah.
If you've taken nothing else from this episode.
I reckon there's probably, which is probably a reflection of Reese and Steve being, I would imagine 1970s public broadcasting videos had an impact on them.
Well, I know Adam Buxton talks about the nuclear war ones having a bit of an effect on him, as they would.
Well, they're terrifying. Yeah, you watch some of them; they're absolutely terrifying.
Isn't there a lady? There's a lady in one of them who's credited as the woman who pisses herself. Is that what's that one called?
Not sure.
Is it called Strings? There was the really scary one.
We're gonna have loads of links in the show notes here.
Strings. Was it called Strings? I'm just searching strings is just what
that's you're not gonna get the specific results you're after.
I could be entirely wrong. Threads, not strings, threads.
I can see why you got confused.
Yeah, cheers, man.
Don't worry. Pipes.
There's a thread. Thread. Yeah, this woman has the saddest IMDb of all time. Ann Sellers, woman who urinates on herself, uncredited.
Is that her only reference? Oh.
Comments on the message boards of her profile include, fantastic performance. She's inspired me to pee on others.
So Threads is the name of the video, is it?
Yeah, it chronicled a nuclear holocaust and its effect on Sheffield.
Did that happen already?
1984.
Shout out to our friends in Sheffield.
Nuclear bomb was dropped on Sheffield. 15 quid's worth of damage. There's an Office joke for you.
Is that from The Office?
They talk about Slough, don't they?
Ah.
They make that joke about Slough.
Oh, so you sort of picked it up and moved it to Sheffield?
I moved it to Sheffield.
That's clever, man.
Thanks, mate.
What's that when you have cross-thingied skills for your CV?
Cross-discipline?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
mean, it hardly makes me a polymath, does it?
I don't know.
I can transplant jokes to different locations by changing the...
I'm impressed. I'm just saying I'm impressed.
Fine, I'll take it. I mean, I wouldn't say he's easily impressed, but replacing the word Slough with Sheffield does... Yeah.
That's a whole new level of... I don't know. You've done some things in your time.
Landmines in Australia. Nuclear bombs on Sheffield. It's places you wouldn't expect to see these things.
Exactly. Well, no, not necessarily true.
Take from that what you will.
Right. Well, I don't have anything more to say.
At all.
Ever.
So that's the end of this podcast. Forever.
I'll probably think of a few more words by next week.
And those words will be about the trial of Elizabeth Gadge, which I'm thinking could be ripe for hilarious dialogue that maybe was just too much or wouldn't fit in.
Yeah, I reckon. There was some stuff added by the roster of comedy actors that they had working on it as well. Yeah, we'll see. But
we'll find out.
Yeah. It was probably exactly
it's just word for word. That is one thing I did notice actually about this, is that I think if you have someone like Sheridan Smith in, they will stick to script. They're professional and their lines are just delivered.
Yeah.
Straight. This is the script we're handing you. You are learning the script. I think it's a little bit different with potentially comedy actors who do like to play a bit more fast and loose. I'm not basing that on any actual knowledge of anything. But you know what I mean.
It's all conjecture, but
it's just massive conjecture.
No, I do know what you mean. And actually, and the ability to deliver those
like
lines.
a Jack Whitehall. Like a Jack Whitehall dropping in funny lines.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I'm seeing less of that with Sheridan Smith.
But you see the script and then see how they deliver. It's like some of Marion Michelle Dotris's lines, where I don't know, they just breathe life into them from the page into that's how it's meant to sound.
Yeah.
Like when I'm reading that in my head, it doesn't sound anything like.
I'm not as good an actor in my head as these people are in real life.
No, unfortunately.
That's what it is.
Maybe that's
even in my head.
Even in my head, I'm not as good an actor as these guys.
I don't imagine myself as a thespian.
Don't be hard on yourself, mate.
Thanks, mate.
I imagine you as a thespian.
I'm pretty sure that you have specifically said at some point in this podcast's history the line, I don't imagine you as a thespian.
Which show?
I imagine it was either around Zanzibar or...
Have I actually said that?
I'm pretty sure you have, yeah. Or
since then, I always imagine you as a thespian.
Maybe. It comes and goes. Week by week. Sometimes I can't picture it, but other times I can't think of anything but.
I can't imagine anything other than you being a thespian.
Get out of my head.
Right. That's a good place to end. Everybody, if there's one thing I want you to take away from this episode and to do this week, is to imagine Stephen as a thespian.
I'll do some dramatic readings next week.
Be lovely. Great. We look forward to it, don't we?
Well, we are going to get to the point where if they don't hurry up and release some more episodes of this, we are going to start going through the script books and delivering them to you.
Yeah.
As podcast episodes.
As the thespians in our heads.
You look forward to that. Welcome to Run Through 21 of our trip through the onion, where we'll be reading the scripts dramatically.
Let's give you a little taste.
Should we do the Zara Christine scene?
Oh, we could do that. Yeah.
No, you've already done that yourself.
No, we won't. We won't do anything. We'll call it a night.
I think so. So next Tuesday, Exeter National Elizabethan Barn Night.
It's my favourite night of the year.
I'll see you there.
Cool. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.